Hello, everybody. Welcome to this YouTube Live. I am Jocelyn Starfeather, the founder of Sacred Planet, and I'm delighted today to bring you an update on the upcoming new moon in Gemini. That will be on June 18th at 12:37
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this YouTube Live.
I am at 12:37 a.m. New York time on June 18th. That will be the new moon in Gemini. I'm also going to tell you about little hints and little clues about some upcoming astrological energies, especially including Venus and Mars in Leo and the upcoming Venus Retrograde. And I'm going to share about the nodes moving into Aries and Libra, which is really big, and that's happening in July, but we're already feeling it. So it's a big, important energy. I also have a wonderful guest here with us who I'll bring in a little while, Cynthia, who is Sacred Planet's in-house astrologer. I'm delighted to have her here, and you guys will get to see her soon. Okay, well, let's begin. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the astrology in the chart for this beautiful new moon in Gemini that we have coming up. And here it is. So during this new moon, the sun and the moon will be together at 26 degrees of Gemini. So if you have access to your astrology chart, definitely take a look and see what you have at 26 degrees of Gemini, or maybe 5 degrees on either side of that. If you have any major planets or points there, then this new moon is significantly working with you. And you want to also see what house does 26 degrees of Gemini fall in your chart. And that will give you an idea of the themes that will be working with you during this new moon time. So as we look at this, there are a few key things to note. One is that this sun and moon, the new moon, they are squaring Neptune, which is over here at 27 degrees of Pisces. Okay, we have the sun and moon here, 26 degrees of Gemini, Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces. Now, a square is a challenging angle. This means that they are 90 degrees apart in the sky. And so this could be some challenges to the logical mind. Gemini, where the sun and moon are, is very much about learning and logic and reason and having a strong intellect. And Neptune squaring that is going to be a challenge to that. So I think it's going to be really important on this new moon to allow yourself to use your imagination. Let's try to work in alignment with the high frequency of Neptune, which is about our dreams, our visions, our imagination, really allowing ourselves to enter into a visionary state or receive the transmissions, receive the downloads. And that may feel odd because with the sun and moon in Gemini, we're going to want to be more in the mind, okay, and more in kind of a logical state. So just be prepared. Just know that that kind of feeling of like the two opposites, both wanting to work with you, might be happening during this new moon. Also, this is a really beautiful aspect that we have. Jupiter at 6 degrees of Taurus, right here, is sextiling Saturn at 7 degrees of Pisces. A sextile is a favorable alignment. And so these two are working together. And Saturn represents structure, represents bringing plans together, building new things. Creating a very strong and solid foundation for our lives. And Jupiter represents expansion and abundance, personal growth and wisdom, travel. Jupiter has a very optimistic attitude. So with these two sextiling one another, this is a very positive energy, and especially because it's at the new moon, and the new moon is amazing for starting new things, planting new seeds. So with the new moon happening at the same time as this Jupiter-Saturn sextile, this is an amazing time to start a new project, start a new business. If you already have a business, maybe it's a good time to launch a new product or a new program. This is a really positive time to start building something new, putting something new into form. So think about what seed you might want to plant at this new moon in Gemini. It's an amazing time for building. With the Saturn and Jupiter working together, we have this really positive interplay where what you've been wanting to build, what you've been wanting to put a 3D structure to, will have the benefic influence of Jupiter and have the energy of growth, expansion, and abundance that comes along with whatever you plant the seeds for at this time. So that's really beautiful and really exciting. One other interesting thing you will note here is that we have Mars and Venus together in Leo. So Venus is at 11 degrees of Leo. Mars is at 16 degrees of Leo. And they're very close together. They're getting closer because right now, for a little while more, Venus is moving slightly faster than Mars. So she's catching up to him. And by June 30th, they will be almost conjunct. They will be just a couple of degrees away from each other. However, they're not going to actually form a full conjunction. Now, if you look at them in the sky anytime between now and June 30th, it's nearly a conjunction. You can see how close they are. Venus is the brightest planet, or appears to be a star in the nighttime sky right now. And then Mars is the glowing red one nearby that's a bit dimmer than Venus, but still fairly bright. So you really can't miss them if you look to the west just after sunset these days. But what's going to happen is Venus is about to go retrograde in July. On July 22nd, Venus is going to turn retrograde in Leo. So as they're getting closer and closer right now, she's eventually going to start slowing down and Mars is going to pull away. So they're not going to come to a full conjunction. But the closest that they'll be this year is on June 30th. So definitely look in the sky around the end of the month. Enjoy that almost conjunction that they will be having. And the next Venus-Mars conjunction is not going to happen until February 2024. That is when, you know, Mars is going to keep going around from here. Venus is going to go backwards in Leo for quite a while. We're going to have a Venus retrograde throughout much of the summer this year. And so by the time she moves forward, she'll be way behind, but eventually by February 2024, she's going to catch up to Mars and they will have their conjunction finally in February in the sign of Capricorn. Now, this Venus retrograde in Leo is really big. It's very important. It's one of the big transits of the summer, and it will be from July 22nd until September 4th. I'm going to do a much longer video on that, but what I will invite you to start looking out for is that even in this pre-retrograde time that we're in right now, old relationships from the past might be coming into your awareness. Old partners or previous beloveds might be reaching out to you, or you might feel called to reach out to them. This is all part of the review process that Venus retrogrades invite. And so you may already be feeling this. It's very interesting how it happens. And this Venus retrograde in Leo is also going to be asking us to get really clear on what we most deeply want and what we're truly passionate about. And what are our highest values around relationship and around holding our own boundaries strongly? What are we here to really fight for? Okay, Leo is this fiery feline energy, right? What do we stand for? What is in our highest integrity to really bring forward and you know, speak about strongly or hold strongly in our lives? These kinds of questions around values and integrity and what are we standing for are going to be big throughout this summer, and we're all going to be called to work with this in a pretty strong way and get clear on what we truly believe, what we hold dear, what are our values, and what points of integrity are most important to us. So that's a little bit about the new moon and some upcoming energies, especially with Venus going retrograde in July. Another important astrological point that I wanted to share with you is about the nodes. So we have had the nodes, and you can see the North Node is here at 2 degrees of Taurus. The South Node is here at 2 degrees of Scorpio. The nodes move always in retrograde motion in the sky. And the nodes are the nodes of the moon. This is a calculation. It's not something you can look up and see in the nighttime sky, but they represent very strongly the North Node representing our future and the direction that we are moving toward. And it's the direction our soul is pulling us toward, right? It's very meaningful. And then Scorpio, the Scorpio South Node, is representing our past. It's representing who we've been before. It's representing old pain and traumas and woundings from the past that we need to clear, which has been very intense with the South Node being in Scorpio, because Scorpio is about what is hidden and old trauma and woundings and this kind of thing anyway. So all of those have been up for us. We've all been feeling that really strongly. The South Node also does represent the gifts and talents and the power that we had in previous lifetimes or previous generations that we are called to bring forward into this lifetime, and ultimately to help us do more of our beautiful North Node work in this lifetime, moving us into the future. So with the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio, we have been working with a lot of pretty intense themes. With the North Node in Taurus, we have been really called to come into connection with the body, into connection with the earth. This has brought up a lot around health. We have also, because the South Node in Scorpio is very intense healing, it has brought up intense healing and releasing processes where we have been called to let go of a lot. We've been called to let go of things that we thought would always be a part of our lives, like relationships, or maybe the place we're living, or our career. All of that has been in quite a state of flux with these nodes moving through Taurus and Scorpio. It's also brought up a lot of financial changes for most people. Taurus and Scorpio both represent different aspects of our financial life. But we're in for a real big shift. So exactly on July 17th, 2023, we're going to have the North Node move into Aries. And the South Node is going to move into Libra. I'm going to pause for a minute because there's a loud noise. Very loud. Okay, sorry about the loud noise there. So when the nodes shift, the North Node is going to move into Aries. The South Node is going to move into Libra. This is a really big change. And I actually have a slide for this that will be probably helpful for you in really wrapping your awareness around this shift. So let me put that slide up for you. Okay, so Aries represents, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac too. That's really important. So we have the North Node moving into the first sign of the zodiac. So this is a really big new beginning. Now this is, again, this is not happening until July 17th, but we're already feeling this because the nodes are already getting very close to ending their time in Taurus and Scorpio. So Aries represents courage, leadership, personal power, and independence. This is about taking pride in our own power and really claiming it. Aries is a fire sign, so this is a very fiery energy. It is not concerned with what others will think or say, really following the truth within oneself. It's a pioneer energy, forging a new path, clearing the new path forward. It's also a warrior energy, and this is where we get the courage, the strength, the boldness. This is about fighting for what we need, and passion, what lights us up. On the negative side, Aries can be very confrontational. It can be maybe too aggressive, or maybe fighting a little too hard for something that didn't need to be approached that aggressively. So as the North Node moves into Aries, we want to be aware of that. You might feel more aggressive, you might feel more confrontational, you might feel a lot more like taking a stand, like a big stand for things. So you want to be really aware that this energy will be stronger in each of us and in the collective, and don't go too far over to that negative side of Aries. Now with the North Node in Aries, we're going to be called to bring these qualities, everything I just said, in the description of Aries, to how we're co-creating our collective future. Okay, because that's what the North Node represents, our individual futures and also our collective future together. So courage and strength will be our allies on this journey. The nodes will be in Aries and Libra for about 1.5 years, from July 2023 until the middle of January 2025. So during this time, we'll be asked to stay true to our convictions, to stand strong, and take a stand for what we truly need. We need to be discerning about that. We don't want to be too rash or act out of anger or act too much out of aggressiveness, but we will have the energy and the courage to really take a stand when it's needed, and that's going to be important. And we'll be learning new levels of mastery around how to claim our power in leadership, how to boldly forge a new path, and how our passion points us toward the future we've always wanted. So that's the North Node in Aries, and it will be really interesting for each of us to kind of lean into this description here and see how maybe this is already starting to bubble up within you. You will feel this especially strongly starting July 17th, once the nodes move into the new signs. Now, on the other hand, we have the South Node moving into Libra. So Libra represents natural order and cosmic law. In ancient Egypt, this is represented by the goddess Ma'at. All right. And Libra is a very, very equivalent archetype to the goddess Ma'at. This is about finding balance and harmony, and also seeking out and identifying where the imbalances are so we can heal and correct them. This is the scales of justice, and that is the constellation of Libra. It is the scales of justice. And this is the mediator, the peacemaker, the diplomat. This is the one who can see both sides of any argument and find the balanced middle ground, the place where agreement can occur. Libra also represents relationships, collaboration, and teamwork. And Libra represents beautiful things, beautiful experiences, and social grace. Very, very socially graceful sign, this Libra. Now, on the negative side, Libra can be indecisive because Libra can see all the different sides of the argument. Sometimes they can find it really hard to make a decision in any particular direction. Also, the negative side of Libra could be trying too hard to avoid conflict when maybe conflict is needed. And you can see that this is very opposite of the Aries energy, right? Libra does care what other people think, and sometimes maybe a little too much. Aries doesn't care at all. Also, the negative side of Libra can be about overgiving or compromising our own needs because we're trying to cater too much to others. So with the South Node in Libra, we're going to be called to heal the imbalances. The South Node is always about healing. And this is so that we can return to that balanced state of right relationship, reciprocity, and alignment with the natural order. This is really big because we as humanity are living so severely out of alignment. We are not currently in right relationship to the earth or to one another or to life itself. So there's going to be a lot of examination on both a personal level and a collective level with the South Node in Libra about what needs to be done to bring things back into balance. And personally, we're going to be asked to balance between the Aries, where, the extreme of Aries is like, it's all about me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm just going to go for whatever I want, and I'm going to knock people over and fight for what I want. That's the extreme of Aries. Sometimes we need that energy, right? And then on the other hand, the extreme of Libra is, I don't want any conflict. I want to make everybody happy. I'll give up my own needs and cater to others so that we can keep the peace. And truly, that is not a balanced state, right? And we don't want to be too extreme on either sides of this, right? So we're going to be asked in our personal patterns, in our personal relationships, and our personal decision-making to really come to a place of finding the balanced middle point between these two, between Aries and Libra, where we're standing up for our needs, standing up for our values and what we believe in, but in a positive way, in a constructive way, not overgiving, not becoming weak or indecisive, but also taking all people's needs into consideration, along with putting our own as a priority as well, right? Finding the balanced place with all of this. So these are the kind of themes we're going to be working with as these nodes move into Aries and Libra. Okay, so I hope that's helpful for you all as you're thinking about what's coming next in the astrology. And I want to bring Cynthia in. Come on over, Cynthia. I'm actually going to just let you sit in the chair here.
Sit here right beside you.
Okay, we could do it this way. There we go. Here's Cynthia, everybody. And what's really cool is, and I want to say more about you in a minute. We're at Taria's house. So just to set the setting, we're at Dr. Taria Ward's house here in Asheville. So it's really cool because Cynthia and Taria and I have been here together today on Taria's porch, and it's very magical here. So welcome, Cynthia.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Always so fascinating to listen to you talk about astrology. Really.
Oh,
thank you for that beautiful update.
Yeah, it's exciting times, really exciting. Well, I know that you have, well, let me just say a little bit more about you actually to introduce people. So everybody, if you don't know Cynthia, she is really so wonderful. She is so kind-hearted, and she is so profoundly insightful about the astrology, the symbolism of things. She brings in this ritual and magic and even herbalism into the astrology readings and can make recommendations for you based on what your astrology chart says, that these herbs might be really good for something that you're working on, or might be really healing for you, or she might recommend a ritual practice. Do you want to say anything else about that, Cynthia? I know that's really wonderful and unique that you bring that into the astrology readings.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. And we were just having this conversation about how it's so beautiful to bring the mythology into the chart and the archetypes and just look at that beautiful symbolism. And as you become aware of these beautiful archetypes in your chart and all of the support that you have from these beautiful forces, as we're fractal representations of these universal forces, it's just beautiful to also understand how everything truly is connected, and how in connection with your chart, you can take a look at your specific placements and see what herbs you can use to support yourself. And so, yes, it is always so wonderful to make those recommendations specific to someone's chart, and to hear about how they are feeling supported by these archetypes, which are reflected in the beautiful herbology. For example, as we were saying, Gotukola, for example, is linked to Mercury, and working with Gotukola is just wonderful if you have, for example, very strong Mercury placements in your chart. So it's a beautiful herb that comes to help you enhance those natural forces inside you.
Amazing, amazing. And yeah, that's a really good point, that each of the planets has herbs that correspond to it, right? And this is something that Cynthia's been studying. And so depending on what you need based on your reading, she can make these really beautiful recommendations for which herbs you could take and or work with in different ways. So yeah, that's just amazing. I want to just bring up the screen here that shows the types of astrology readings that you offer. So let me do this. And Cynthia, as I mentioned earlier, is Sacred Planet's in-house astrologer. We have brought her in because she's so wonderful, and she brings us just the testimonials that we've been getting since Cynthia started doing the astrology readings have been out of this world, just really amazing. So you can read some of those testimonials on this page. I will put this page in the link in the description below. And so you can come here and read a little bit about alchemical astrology and why that's important. And there's another video with me and Cynthia. So this is the level 1 reading. This is a 60-minute alchemical astrology reading where you can look at 2 or 3 of these following items in this list, which there's quite a list of amazing things that you could choose to focus on. And that is a price of $222. Now, do you want to say anything about that kind of reading, or what you
Yes, I mean, thank you, Jocelyn. It is really a beautiful reading, and if you feel like that is what your time allows, for example, and you just want to know what's happening in my chart, what's transiting, what initiations are coming up for me, what planetary forces right now are working with my chart, what are my challenges, what are my upcoming beneficial transits. That is a beautiful reading, and you will get a lot out of that reading. It is always beautiful, lots of insights. It's always fun to come and take a look at your, also the placements of how, say, for example, if you have a Jupiter moon conjunction in your chart, how you may tune into that and see how that may be a beautiful archetypal force that offers support for your journey. So that's always a beautiful reading. I love to do those readings always.
Yes.
And yes, I
wonderful.
mean, as we go down, of course, they go deeper into, as we were saying, the healing, and it's because you spend more time. So they increase in time. It's 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 150 minutes, so that you go deeper into your chart, and then of course deeper into the healing. And then as we get, of course, into the cacao
Well,
readings.
let's stay on this one for one
Yes.
moment, because this one is really
Yes.
exciting especially for the times that we're in. You know,
Yes.
we're all needing to release so much. We're all needing to look at our shadows and look at what needs to be healed and brought into our consciousness. So this 90-minute reading to work with your challenges and shadows is just it's really powerful. And I know people receive so much from this. And as Cynthia was saying, you just have a little bit more time so you can go deeper into some of these really profound topics.
Exactly. Yes, because here you need a little bit more time, because we spend some time going into the Chiron wounding. So it's important to give it the necessary time and space for you to connect with that wounding, for you to allow yourself the time to connect with that wounding, talk about it, release it, talk about ways of how you can remediate and work with that wounding and work with the frequency of that wounding, so we all have it. It is all about just learning to master it and master those energies, so that they can become your light, and they can become not only how you feel better within yourself, but how you can help others feel better as you learn how to work with that wounding.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that's really important to know about astrology, is that if you're moving through challenges, if you know you've been moving through shadows, or maybe if you feel like that's work that you need to be doing, astrology offers this very powerful mythological lens where you can really see how you're the hero or heroine on your own hero's journey. And the astrology can reveal not only the difficult parts, but where is the light in your chart? What are the gifts and skills and talents and strength that you have to help you get through this? And it really gives you this view of, it's like a bigger picture view. Like, this is why you're learning this lesson right now. And the lessons are always given to us so that we can move into our highest evolution. They're always given to us so that we can emerge into the light more fully resourced, more courageous, right? More able to step up and really bring all the gifts that we're here to bring in this lifetime. And so astrology can really help you see the way out, see the light at the end of the tunnel if you're going through something challenging. So I just think this is such an important, powerful option on the page here. And this is 333 for your 90-minute session with Cynthia.
And it's absolutely, Jocelyn. And if I may add to that, it's that beautiful idea of Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey. And it's either we can choose to feel victimized by life circumstances, right, and feeling that we're just being taken, for a ride, or we can just choose to jump and take, ownership of our experience and see it as a beautiful mythical journey.
Yeah.
It is all meant for our growth, and it has a lot of meaning, and it has a lot of potential for development.
Yes. And as you can see here, if you have questions or you're not sure which type of reading is best for you, you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation with Cynthia by clicking here. And as we move on, this is really special. And this is something that Sacred Planet had never offered before Cynthia came on board with us, is 120-minute alchemical astrology reading and a personalized cacao ceremony. So would you like to say a few words about that?
Sure. Thank you, Jocelyn. And so this is pretty much the Chiron reading, because it includes everything that the level 1 includes, the level 2 includes, and then we take it to the level 3. It's a little bit more time because when we begin, so here we're always connected to the energies. All of this is always in connection with you, your soul's blueprint, all of these readings are always meant to be in this deep connection. But here what we work is also with in beautiful connection with the spirit, the essence of cacao, a ceremonial grade cacao, just because of its high vibrational quality, high frequency. And so we just tune into even deeper energies in this reading, with even deeper guidance, in connection with each other,
Beautiful.
Yes.
And the cacao, I always feel that that's the energy of Venus. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And in the Mayan tradition, that's exactly what it is,
Okay,
Jocelyn. It's
beautiful.
absolutely beautiful because it's Venus. It's Quetzalcoatl, who was connected to the energy of Venus, who brings that energy to the cacao tree. And it is a gift of, they say, Theobroma cacao, food of the gods, gift of the beautiful higher energetic forces, to help us connect to our inner wisdom, our inner guidance, and in connection with the cosmos. So it's beautiful.
Amazing.
The Mayans and all of these beautiful ancient traditions deeply revered cacao for its beautiful connection to everything outside and inside.
Amazing. And it's so powerful with the heart, right?
Yes. So beautifully powerful.
Yes.
It's a great connector, really.
Amazing. So this session is 444 for 2 hours, including your own personalized cacao ceremony, which is just amazing.
Yes.
And we have some notes here about cacao that you can check out if you would like. And then this is something that Cynthia has recently added to what she's offering. And this is a 150-minute alchemical astrology reading plus cacao ceremony plus chakra illumination. So could you tell us about the chakra illumination and how that fits in here?
Yes. Thank you. And then that is, so again, this one includes everything that level 1, level 2, level 3 includes. And it at the end of the reading. So just like the other reading, we begin with the cacao and the evocation and the connection to the spirit of cacao. Here we finish it now working with the energetic body. And so as we go through the reading, as we tune into the chart, as we look at your south node, as we look at your Chiron wounding, as you begin to receive all of those messages, then you work on releasing. What am I ready to release right now? What am I prepared to release? It's almost like a full moon, right? How we release so many things during a full moon. It is the same thing. So at that moment, we just tune into your energy, and it is a beautiful process where it's almost like a mini fire ceremony. We work to release imprints from your energetic body, things that your body with your breath is ready to release at that point. And then we let that go with the fire. It's a beautiful, almost like an additional ceremony. And then we tune in, we reset your chakra system, so that sometimes when the chakras are not in alignment, they start spinning in a counterclockwise direction. So what this beautiful process does is that it resets your system and gets them all spinning in a clockwise direction, and you feel more energized after it, because it is almost like a retuning of your energetic body. So
Amazing.
it's like it's a healing session at that point, because it works with your mind, with the chart. It's working with your heart because of the cacao, and it's working with your energetic body because of the chakra illumination. So it's kind of like this 3-way beautiful portal of healing.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, it's so exciting that you're offering these wonderful options for people that are so much more than an astrology reading, and the astrology reading on its own is mind-blowing.
Yes.
And then if you want these other magical elements, you can add them in. So that is just fantastic. Thank you, Cynthia, for all that you do.
Thank you
for us and for Sacred Planet.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I welcome everybody, and let me just scroll to this. So this is 5:55 for this incredible 2.5-hour session.
2.5 hours.
Really, really amazing. And the crows are chiming in, and they want you to get an astrology reading. The crows are amazing. They are the shamans here at Taria's house. They're holding the sorcery energy here. It's really incredible. Definitely. See, they said, yep, that's absolutely right. So come over here to this page and read the testimonials, listen to what the crows are telling you, book your reading. And we know that you will be just so thrilled with all that you receive in your reading with Cynthia.
Jocelyn. It really is such a pleasure to be able to offer the support for the Sacred Planet community, especially in these times that you just mentioned, so many of these beautiful transits and the shifting of the nodes and all of these energies, we begin to feel them. Like, for example, right now we had that cross we were just talking about and how challenging that was, and how we felt that deeply energetically. And so not only is it wonderful to know about how that's hitting you directly in your chart, but to prepare for it, because sometimes even you might think like, oh no, that's not going to, I'm not going to feel it, but you do. And so it's nice to feel prepared for it and sometimes know what you may do to counterbalance or work with those energies in the most favorable way. So it's just beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Astrology really does help us to work with things in the most favorable way with that big picture view. Yeah. That mythological view. And it adds meaning. It helps you to understand the context, why you're experiencing whatever it is that you're experiencing, and just put that deeper layer of meaning into it. So, and I just love that the crows are still chiming in with us. So we have one more exciting thing that we want to share with you, and that is that Cynthia has the wonderful idea of leading a new moon in Gemini ceremony. So go ahead, tell them all about it.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. So yes, thank you. I mean, thank you for that beautiful, beautiful video that you made talking about all the astrology for the rest of the year. I love looking at that video, as I'm sure everyone did. And so the beautiful description that you did for the new moon and full moon, just it is an invitation to work with those energies. The new moon energy is always a beautiful energy to set your intentions, to begin, intending for what you want to bring in this new moon cycle. Of course, the full moon is always wonderful to release. And so with the intention to be of support, additional support, because you already offer so much beautiful support, Jocelyn, but just to offer this beautiful support with ritual and with cacao, I wanted to invite the Sacred Planet audience to join us in this new moon cacao ceremony that I would be hosting on behalf of Sacred Planet on June 18th, which is Sunday, right? And so we will be sending out a Zoom link. This is a beautiful complimentary offering for the Sacred Planet audience, and it is with the intention that we all tune in to each other, tune in with our intentions. Intentions are always magnified, amplified when we work together in a group. So we would be all tuning into each other, perhaps bringing our candle, just creating our sacred space together. I do personally these kinds of rituals every new moon, as I'm sure you do, Jocelyn. We both do new moons, full moons. We're always connected to the cycles of the moon. So it would be an invitation just to open the space and do it together. And so at that moment, I would guide you. We would begin, by sharing a cup of cacao together, doing a little bit of journaling, setting our intentions. And then my intention would also be to build this beautiful despacho, which is this Quechua tradition, Inca tradition of building this beautiful gift for the energies, so that we would pretty much present this, all work together, and then just deliver our intentions to the cosmos.
And the despacho is like a beautiful altar, like with flowers and all kinds of amazing things that we're offering. So it's really beautiful practice.
Yes, and with the intention to connect to each other, to be together, as we intend together, and to just be together in community and support for each other and connecting to each other's energy. In this beautiful, beautiful new moon in Gemini. As you mentioned, Jocelyn, it's going to be a beautiful sextile from Saturn to Jupiter and the North Node. So it's a beautiful time to build, to construct, to connect to those magical forces, because I feel Gemini is also connected to the magician, right? And then it's like kind of like creating that magical energy of support for one another as we connect in technology and communication to bring those intentions up together. So we'll be sending out an email, a Zoom link, and so whoever's inclined, feeling called to connect that day, it will be such a beautiful opportunity to connect, get to know you. And and of course we'll recommend a few cacao companies, but I mean, number one, for it to be ceremonial grade cacao, it'll be a more beautiful experience for you because it'll just connect you to that high vibrational quality. And then of course, Ora Cacao has beautiful cacao. Cacao Lab, the Mayan Wisdom Project. And I, of course, personally love to work with Cacao, which is KAKAO. And then their website is flycacao.com. And we have a special code for the Sacred Planet audience, which is Hathor 22.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes. And all capital locks. So HATHOR 22. And we'll put that in the email as well. And then you get a 10% discount on your first order.
Amazing.
So yes, beautiful, beautiful. And they are just beautifully high vibrational cacao. They'd be
Highest
wonderful
quality.
to invite you to that. Join forces. That's what it is. It's a joining of forces for the new moon, for intentions, and for support for one another. So thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you for offering this.
Thank you,
Cynthia.
Jocelyn, for allowing me to offer it. Thank you so much. It will be beautiful.
So glad to bring that to the Sacred Planet community. And if you are listening to this and you're not yet part of the Sacred Planet community, or you're not on my mailing list, just go to wearesacredplanet.com and you can sign up for any of the free gifts that you see there, and you'll be added and you'll get the notification about the new moon ceremony. And I'll link that below as well. So I think that's all we have for you for now. So take all this in, and hopefully all of this will be really powerful, really helpful for you in planning for the new moon in Gemini on June 18th. And yeah, write in the comments, what do you expect to set as your intentions for this new moon? What is really moving within you? What are you maybe hoping to begin? A new project, a new venture, a new business, a new program? What kind of imaginations and visions and dreams do you want to bring in at this time? Write in the comments and let us know. And also tell us which type of astrology reading are you planning to have with Cynthia? We would love to hear. So yeah, many blessings, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Cynthia.
Thank you,
It's a
Jocelyn.
pleasure to be here in person
You
with
as
you
well.
in
Thank you.
Asheville.
Yes. Love being here
Yeah.
in Asheville with you.
It's
Thank you.
magical here.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, lots of love, everybody. I'll see you again soon.
Thank
Bye for
you.
now.
Lots of love.
Mwah.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Many blessings. Bye.